Welcome to the With You Always podcast. My name is Eric Gallagher, and I'm excited to share with you today's reflection. As we were sitting around Christmas morning and our family was opening gifts, um, one of the interior movements of my heart that really struck me was um, I know my kids aren't going to get everything that they want. And as a parent, there were so many components of that are challenging, right? So you've done well to give them good gifts. I've been overly generous to them, right? And I want them to be satisfied with the gifts that they've been given. I want them to be kids who grow up to be grateful. But at the same time, that poverty that they're experiencing, even if it in the smallest sense, and even if they don't say anything, even if they can't totally recognize it or even put it to words, but I want them to have that too. And I want to give them everything. And so of course I put this into the perspective of God as the father and me as the child. And I'm very aware that there are so many incredible gifts that he has given me throughout my life. And I start to realize the dynamics of how unfulfilled I am to some extent. And I have to start dissecting to some degree, okay, so what of this is good for me and what of this is my own kind of childlike selfishness, right? God wants to give me everything. But also there's a reason he's not giving me everything just yet. And I'm grateful for that because it causes me, it gives me the opportunity to continue looking. I remember as a kid wanting that one thing all the time, the one big present. Like I told my parents so many times that I wanted that. There's no way that they wouldn't get it for me. Right? I remember of all the Christmases as a child, I remember my parents would often trick me. Even we would open up all the gifts, and I opened every gift kind of hoping that it was the one that I wanted. And there was this kind of like unfulfilled reality that my parents knew very well what was going on in me because they knew me so well. Then we get all done, and then all of a sudden they bring out the gift that I wanted. I, it's such a spoiled kid reality, and but a beautiful reality at the same time. Like I had such confidence that my parents knew what I wanted. And yes, I was a child and I was selfish and I didn't take a lot of things into account, perhaps ignorant of all the different realities at play. But I also knew that my parents wanted to provide it for me. During this Christmas season, I think beginning to reflect and starting to understand more fully that God has made himself totally available to us, that his grace is totally available to us. He wants to give us everything in every area of our life, but he's going to give it to us when we're ready, when it makes most sense. But at the same time, he sees us and he knows us. And the reason he's not giving all of those things, or perhaps not able yet to give all of these things, is because we have some growing up to do. I'm incredibly grateful for the Christmas season to be able to reflect on the gift and the presence of God in my life. And I want to look to him in anticipation and excitement that he is going to provide me all of the things that my heart desires. And the Christmas season is not just a one-day thing, and God's presence in our life is by no means a one-day thing. Right? This podcast itself, the With You Always podcast, has a specific aim to help people recognize that God is with us always, his presence. He's continuing to give of himself over and over and over again. So this life can be a beautiful, wild ride where God is continuing to fulfill the desires of our hearts little by little. He knows exactly the thing that we have been waiting for, but have we asked him for it? Have we revealed that to him in our own hearts and through our own prayer so that we can have this beautiful, perfect moment where he shows us that he has seen us, he's heard us, he loves us, and yes, he wants to give us everything that our hearts desires. During this Christmas season, let us continue to be open and ready to receive all of the gifts that God has for us, and even to be like a child who perhaps selfishly at times, even ignorantly at times, wants it all, and allow God's love and grace to continue to form us and guide us as we grow up to be disciples and one day saints in heaven with him.